the late 1822s, where Delaware bled quietly into Maryland, there existed a stretch of marsh and shadow known as the Borderlands, a place the law visited rarely and left quickly. It was here, amid reeds that whispered like gossip and roads that vanished at dusk, that Patty Cannon built her kingdom. She was not tall, not graceful, not memorable at first glance. That was her greatest weapon. She blended into the frontier's harshness like a stone in mud, her smile a thin line that promised hospitality while calculating profit. Cannon ran an inn of sorts, a crooked house that offered drink and shelter to the desperate, to enslaved and free black people traveling north. Her door looked like mercy. She spoke softly. She fed them. She listened. Then she sold them south or worse. In an era when human life was already priced and traded, Cannon refined cruelty into a system. She hunted black lives not with a rifle alone, but with patience, deception, and a ledger. Rumors grew as quietly as cattails. People went missing after stopping at her place. Wagons rolled out at night heavier than they arrived. Neighbors heard screams swallowed by fog. But fear, like fog, also covered tracks. Cannon was connected to traffickers, to buyers, to men who liked the borderlands because borders blurred responsibility. When whispers reached sheriffs, they found nothing but a woman who cooked, smiled, and swore innocence. The borderlands protected their own. What made Cannon terrifying was not just her violence, but her organization. She partnered with men who scouted roads and docks, who learned the rhythms of patrols and the habits of travelers. She knew when to strike and when to wait. She knew the price of silence. Those who suspected her often decided suspicion was safer than certainty, and so the machine ran. At night, her house became something else. Lantern light cut faces into masks. The marsh breathed. Cannon's temper, already infamous, turned volcanic when profit was threatened. She carried a club. She favored sudden blows. Those who resisted learned quickly that the borderlands had a way of keeping secrets. Bones sank, names vanished, families waited forever. By 1829, the region carried a sickness no prayer could cure. Parents warned children away from the marsh road. Sailors changed routes. Yet the trade continued because greed is louder than fear. Cannon was no myth. She was a businesswoman in a market built on stolen lives, and she was very good at her work. The Cannon house stood low and wide, its boards warped by damp years and uncounted storms. Inside, the air smelled of grease, smoke, and something metallic beneath it all. Visitors remembered the table first, always set, always welcoming. Food disarmed suspicion. So did Cannon's talk. She asked names, origins, destinations. She laughed at the right moments. She never hurried anyone. Behind the walls, there were spaces not meant to be seen. A cellar door that stuck, floorboards that lifted just enough, a yard where the soil never settled. Those who survived encounters spoke of sudden violence, of being struck from behind, of waking bound, of being marched south under threat. Others never spoke again. Cannon's brutality was not impulsive, it was procedural. When a person could be sold, they were sold. When they could not, when they resisted too fiercely, knew too much, or simply delayed profit, Cannon chose efficiency. Death was cheaper than delay. The borderlands absorbed the rest. Neighbors heard things. They smelled things. Some looked away. Others participated. Evil rarely operates alone. It recruits convenience. Cannon's network included traffickers who transported captives, buyers who paid cash, and watchers who warned of trouble. Each person took a cut and told themselves a story that made sleep possible. Yet the house itself seemed to remember. Survivors described the feeling of being watched by the walls, of hearing muffled cries long after the source was gone. Animals avoided the yard. The marsh birds went silent near the place. Even hardened men grew uneasy after dark. The turning point came not from courage, but from accumulation. Too many disappearances, too many rumors that matched, too many witnesses whose stories overlapped like fingerprints. When lawmen finally searched Cannon's property, they found what the land could no longer hide: human remains, evidence of murder, proof of trafficking. The borderlands exhaled. Cannon was arrested in 1829. She denied everything with a ferocity that shook the courtroom. She blamed partners. She cursed witnesses. She raged at God. But the evidence spoke with a weight no shouting could lift. The house that had swallowed people finally gave them back. Patty Cannon died in jail before execution could be carried out, escaping the rope, but not the verdict of history. Some called it injustice. Others called it fitting that she be denied spectacle, denied control to the end. What mattered more was what remained after her death.